As members know, it's an advisory panel. There are two reports on the agenda today, which we'll come to in a minute, and I'll just hand over to Layla to run through some of the nuts and bolts.
Okay, well, it's actually Steve Taylor.
Oh, Steve. So, well done, Steve.
That's right.
Yep.
In the event of a technical failure, the leader will adjourn the meeting, and a copy of the recording will be available on the Council's committee pages within the next few days. Video should remain on, but remain muted until invited to speak. And if you wish to attract the leader's attention, please make use of the instant messaging function. The format of the meeting will be as per the agenda published. Back to you, Leader.
Thank you very much, Steve. Okay, members, I'll just go around the table to check that you can see and hear everything perfectly clearly, and then we'll go to management team. So we'll start off in a break with tradition today with Councillor Keane.
Good morning, everyone. Councillor Janet Keane, I confirm that I can see and hear the proceedings clearly.
Thank you. Councillor Mark Healy.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I can clearly see and hear everything that's going on. Thank you.
Councillor Andrew Gilling.
Thank you, Leader. Councillor Andrew Gilling, I can hear and see everything clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lance Doddridge.
Good morning, everybody. Councillor Lance Doddridge, and I can see and hear everything clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mike Caswell.
Good morning, everybody. Councillor Mike Caswell, I can clearly hear and see everything.
And last but by no means least, Councillor Jill Slocum.
Thank you. Good morning, Leader. Deputy Leader Jill Slocum, I can see and hear everything very clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. And I can also admit to the fact that I can see and hear everything. Right, members. Over to Steve. You happy? Oh no, we'll go through management team. Okay, Mr. Bamsey.
Good morning, members. Doug Bamsey, Deputy Chief Executive. I can confirm I can hear and see everything.
Thank you. Chief Executive.
Good morning, everyone. Bob Brown, Chief Executive. I can confirm and I can see and hear everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Turner.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Alison Turner, Strategic Director and Section 151 Officer. I can confirm I can see and hear everything. Thank you.
Bringing up the legals today, I believe, is Stephen Hellard.
Thank you, Leader. Good morning, members. I can confirm that I can hear and see everything perfectly, especially with these new glasses. Thank you.
Well done. What's worrying is that you may not have been able to see before. Yeah. And we're joined by Claire Fawn.
Hello, Claire Fawn, Corporate Relations Manager. I confirm I can see and hear everything. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got Dawn Lehman with us.
Good morning, Leader. Dawn Lehman, Legal Services. I'm here to observe the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got Layla Nicholson bringing up the rear. I think that's about it, members, in which case we turn to the agenda proper with your agreement. Any apologies for absence?
No, Leader.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest, members? No. Thank you. Urgent business, I have none, but I have admitted to mention that we're joined by the leader of the Liberal Democrat group and leader of the Labour group as well this morning. Thank you. Public speaking time. Have we any members of the public registered to speak?
No, Leader, nobody is registered.
Thank you. And then we come to the agenda proper report, first report, local government reorganisation, post-decision report. I mean, members will have attended a number of briefings that have been held and will have a fair idea of the current situation. We have 4 recommendations before us, which will go through to council today. I don't propose to say a great deal more, but I will ask the Chief Executive if he wishes to make comment on the report.
Thank you. It's just to say that obviously we're at a critical time now. The Secretary of State's made his decision. We did anticipate that we would have already met the MHCLG, but that's not going to be until next week now on Monday. But there will be a series of meetings and negotiations in terms of what the vesting agreement needs to look like, and other issues that we're going to need to address in fairly short order. So the reason for the request for delegation is to make sure that we are equipped to do that and able to enter into negotiating meetings with some decision-making capacity, because we will be called upon to make swift decisions in that regard. So hence the purpose of the report. It was intended there would be a subsequent report on finances as well, but for various reasons which we'll touch on later when we come to that item, that matter, the financial issue is going to be delayed until the end of until September, when we can bring together a clearer picture of where the financial situation will lie, and some clarity from MHCLG as to where funding should come from in terms of supporting any transition costs. So we need to have that discussion first before bringing those matters before you. So other than that, I think at the moment, Leader, happy to take any questions.
Yeah, and likewise, members. Any member of council have any question? You'll see that recommendation 3 is to set up a working group that will be representative of the council, in order that groundings can be taken on certain areas. So, any questions from anyone? In that case, then the recommendation through to full council, I put to you. Is that seconded? For recommendations? Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll ask the executive members if there are any objections or abstentions. No. Stephen Hellard, over to you. I mean, Steve Taylor, sorry.
That's clearly carried, Leader.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members. Moving on then to the second report, and I will go straight across to the Chief Executive at this point.
Thank you, Leader. There was an intention of bringing a fuller report in terms of an indication of resources required between now and the to support the transition arrangements. We anticipated that we would have had a meeting with MHCLG this Monday, which would have informed that, and we could have brought to you an indicative position in terms of what resources we thought we may need. But unfortunately, the meeting was delayed until next week now, and in discussion with our colleagues in the other districts who will be needing to bring similar reports through their executive, they wanted to bring in a coordinated approach to this particular position in terms of asking for resources against each of their councils. So on that basis, it's delayed until September, when we can bring that information together and put a more comprehensive report before you. To some extent, the only issue for me, I think, in the intervening period is that there may need to be a call on some resources from officers and some backfilling in the meantime, because obviously there's a month to go, and we need to be able to move quickly to put resources in the right place, depending on what MHCLG say next week, and what resources collectively between us we need to put in place. Because it's important, I think, for us with the county council negotiations, that we can resource those swiftly and put the people in the right place, because obviously an early start to this is going to be required. We're in a very, very short time frame between now and the need to get a vesting order in place by December in order to get to the elections for May next year. And we're going to need to make sure that people are in the right place to be able to put the district perspective into any of those negotiations. We know that the county is well resourced in that regard, and we need to make sure that we are as well. So, but if I need, I suppose I can use some delegated power, some delegated ability to move some money around if need be, to put officers in the right place and backfill if necessary.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that gives us slight more comfort, but equally, we don't want to be waiting necessarily 2 weeks on the notice of a full council meeting. If we needed an emergency one, would probably be two weeks too long in this situation. Councillor Slocum.
Thank you, Leader. I think this is a really sensible approach. I think you do need finances to crack on and get things sorted. So is there any way that we can just do we need to formally put that delegated authority in place now, or is that something that can be just gone through? Because I don't think you need to wait. I think there's time restraint is very, very tight, and I'd like to be able to do that now, really, if possible.
I think the chief executive already has those delegated powers in an emergency situation, and I would consider that this would be if there was a sudden call on information from the organisation or resources in order to, as chief exec said, give the district perspective into the discussions.
Thank you, super.
Right, members, if you're happy, then there is no decision to be made. There being no further business, then I declare this very short meeting over. It's over, in fact, before my lateral flow testers come back. So, yeah. So thank you very much for your attendance and look forward to seeing you later on today. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you.